Right, healthy Halloween treats and much more now with Louise Mercier, owner of The Health Kick and author of How Food Shapes Your Child, a nutritional cookbook for children. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in.
Very welcome.
Can we start with the book before we get to Halloween? Because it's lovely. It's a real work of art. So this is your first book.
It is indeed.
So tell us whereabouts in Leicestershire you're from, because you say rural Leicestershire.
Well, I'm in Lutterworth, so South Leicestershire.
Okay, and you got a little boy called Owen.
Yep.
Is that why you decided to write this?
It's why I was inspired to do the book for children, and I'd been sort of toying with the idea of doing a cookbook for a while, but I didn't have any real inspiration because there's loads of cookbooks out there, loads of things, and I didn't really feel inspired until I had him and he got past the weaning stage and past the where you've got real control and it's really easy with a child. And he started to see things on the shelves and started to be influenced by them. And I was really quite appalled at sort of some of the foods that are targeted at children, and I wasn't happy with what was in them. So I spent quite a lot of time ranting about foods for children on my social media groups and things. And I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to just rant. I'm going to do something about it. There's no point just ranting. So I did some more study. I studied nutrition and children's brains, and that was it. That was when I was inspired.
You did all this just because you didn't like what you were going to put in in Owen's body?
Yeah, definitely.
That's great.
Well, it's what I do anyway, but it was another link to, I'm not having to meet this. So I studied and then thought, this is it. This is the inspiration. I'm going to do a book all about this.
Okay, I like it. It's really good from the bits I've seen. Can you talk us about building a child's brain? The brain is made up of 60% water and there should be 40% fat.
So, yeah, the fat section of the brain is really interesting because that's what, in terms of building a child's brain, that continues to grow until they're 21. So it goes for quite a long time. But what's interesting in a child's diet is the balance of essential fats, and that's the good fats. And a lot of children don't get that. So especially when like the mum's pregnant, the baby will pinch it from the mum. And to build their own brain, they'll look after themselves. So the mum can get what we sort of call baby brain, where she'll get forgetful and, a bit confused. And then people sort of laugh and joke about baby brain, but it's true. The baby is pinching to build their own brain. So essential fats are things like fish, avocados, nuts and seeds. It's difficult to get some of those into babies and children, but it's not impossible.
Okay, now what about sugar? Because that's a big thing, isn't it, as kids? I know when I was a child, I used to have a lot of sweets, and we're guilty of that with my little daughter Sophia, who's 6, and she's like a mirror image of what I was like when I was younger. And we will put healthy stuff in front of her, like she'll have smoothies, and we'll put some veg in a blender, and we have all that with a bit of natural yogurt. But also, we'll give her a bag of Maltesers or something. So what's your view on that?
I think it's quite normal to have a balance, and I think, there's nothing wrong with an occasional, where it's a sugary, chocolatey treat, it's fine. The problem with sugar is it's not just in a sugary, chocolatey treat, it's in a lot of other things as well. So the food companies are sneaky. They know it's in things, they know it's addictive, they know it adds taste and preservative and things like that. So a lot of the time you don't even know you're giving child or yourself sugar, because it's just hidden in things. And things that are deemed to be a healthy start for children in terms of a breakfast, a few of my pet hates around children's food are things that are called a healthy breakfast because they're fortified, which means they've been added vitamins and minerals, but they can be up to 70% sugar. So they're not a healthy start at all.
So what's the kind of thing, give us a clue, what's the kind of things we can do? Because there'll be lots of people listening who've got grandchildren, maybe they go and stay at the weekend or whatever, or they pick them up before school and give them a bit of breakfast, or just generally parents listening. So just give us sort of a bit of a few tips through the day.
I think it's important for children to understand food, which is a lot of what the book is about. It's about children knowing what they're eating, because if you just go to a child or an adult and say, right, you can't eat that anymore, it's not good for you. It's like, why? I want it. I like it. So it's actually ensuring that people understand food. So if you say that children are more than capable of actually knowing when to say no, of knowing they've had enough, of saying, no, thank you, I don't want sweet, they're more than capable. I've seen it. It can happen. Children are not this, they're not designed to just take when it comes to sweet things. They can cut off, they can genuinely, and so I think it's a case of just making sure they understand too much of this, your teeth will fall out, too much of this isn't good for you, too much of this, you won't be as clever as you could be if you didn't have as much of it, because sugar is damaging to IQ. So there's lots of things that children can understand, and then they can make their own decisions. But there's also lots of things parents can do to be sneaky, so pretending something is something when it isn't. I do that with chocolate mousse. Avocado, banana, maple syrup and cacao is basically a chocolate mousse. But there is nothing nasty in there. There is no sugar in there. And it looks and tastes like a chocolate mousse.
some people have said, and I don't know if you agree with this, but if you ever pick up something in a supermarket and read the back of it and it's like learning another language, you should leave it alone.
Yeah, definitely. I say with food ingredients, food labelling, if it's got more than, say, 4 or 6 ingredients, and if you don't recognise a lot of the things in there, if they don't sound like food, they're not food, then we don't need to be eating those. They just play all sorts of havoc in the body.
Any takeaways at all in your house ever?
I am human, so yes, I like a curry. But it is about balance. It's like maybe once every 2 months.
Wow, once every 2 months.
Yeah,
I'm once a week at
Really?
least. At least once a week.
No.
Every Friday without fail.
It's about what you enjoy. In moderation. There is nothing that I would deny myself, but I make sure that what I'm eating is worth eating.
It's good, and it does affect you, doesn't it? I mean, I've sort of started realising that as I get older, you do feel it. If you eat well, you do feel better. And I'm not sure if that's just like some kind of placebo. It genuinely is, isn't it?
It's definitely not a placebo. One of the things I do quite a lot is post like reviews and testimonials of the spectrum of issues that nutrition can aid symptoms of. So, for example, I'll post for somebody I help with fibromyalgia, change in diet, symptoms eased by 70%, chronic fatigue syndrome, symptoms managed, antidepressant medication come off through changing diet, not slept for 14 months, change in diet, can sleep again, IBS symptoms. Nutrition plays a massive role in making a change there. So it's not a placebo. It makes a massive difference. Just make a few changes and you can really feel healthy. Whereas I think a lot of people are so used to feeling a bit achy, a bit tired, a bit headachy, always craving things, like always needing caffeine to pick you up, always needing, alcohol to get to sleep, feeling like you need an afternoon sweet treat because you're not quite balancing everything yourself. So it's all this artificial stimulus to keep you going. And that just means you're feeling a bit, you don't need to feel.
They say your first brain, they say you have 3 brains, don't they? Your first brain's in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously comes from what you're putting in your body. Have you ever seen, there's a brilliant thing on Netflix called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. There's a guy called Joe Cross, and he had, just listened to what you were saying there, reminded me of this. So he had lots of things wrong with him that he was taking tablets for. And his theory was that if your body can heal itself on the outside, it can heal itself on the inside. You know when you fall over, you get a scab and your body mends itself? It can do that on the inside. So he decided to go on a 60-day juice diet, and he just did that for 60 days. And over the 60 days, he lost weight, obviously, but also all his ailments went, and he stopped taking tablets. And he went on this kind of travel documentary helping truckers, because obviously they work through the night and there were night shifts and they eat fatty things. And it was nice. I thought it was a really good thing to do.
It's very drastic. I haven't seen it, but it sounds very drastic. And I wouldn't recommend that people go and try and do things like that, because it is very drastic without having, supervision and medical checks and things. But nutrition definitely can get people off medication. It can eliminate the need for medication, and it can turn around lifestyle-led diseases. It can't do everything, but it can do a hell of a lot. And I think it's very underplayed in terms of how influential it is in people's lives and how fairly minor changes can make a massive, massive difference.
Right, let's get to Halloween, because it's tomorrow. There'll be lots of people with kids, grandkids, preparing for trick-and-treating, whatever it might be, or just generally something in the house, going to events. We're doing our pumpkin carving tonight. Have you done that yet with Owen?
We have not this year. We haven't done it, actually. I'm a bit behind.
Okay, what about making sweet treats then, or not so sweet treats?
So they are sweet treats. I have brought a box of sweet treats in for you,
bless you.
To show that you can enjoy sort of sweet treats.
Can I open this now?
Of course, they are for you to eat, but not all of them all at once. But it is to show how, I make things like this at home. I make them for my little boy. It's 85% cocoa. So it's not overly sweet, but the more you feed your palate overly sweet things, the more it expects. So you can retrain your palate to not need that really sugary fix. And it's got edible essential oils in as well. A friend of mine has, you can't eat all essential oils, but a friend of mine called the Essential Oils Lady UK has amazing oils that you can eat. So lemon, peppermint, orange oil, and you can actually ingest them. So they go really well with chocolate. Which one are you eating? Can you tell?
I can't, but it's amazing. It's really nice. I'd have this over normal chocolate every day.
Exactly. It tastes so much better. You can actually taste it. Whereas a lot of the time with chocolate, with sweets, I think people just kind of inhale them. and they don't really sort of like savour them. It's like people say, "Oh, I didn't realise, but I ate a whole box of Maltesers.
That's me.
Where did they go?
That's
I
what I
must
do.
have eaten them."
Yeah, no, I do that. Do you know what a friend of mine started doing? To not eat chocolate, just licks it.
Oh God.
Just licks the chocolate. But these are really nice. So how would I make this? Because
So-
people can't see this. So can you just describe what you've got in
So
this box?
you have a box of dark chocolate coated cranberries, which are basically dried cranberries, unsweetened, because they often are sneaky with dried fruit and they will sugarcoat it and things like that. So unsweetened cranberries with dark chocolate, so 85% cocoa. The higher the cocoa amount, obviously the less sugar. So if you're having like a normal milk chocolate, it'll be about 45% cocoa. The rest of that is going to be milk and sugar. 85% is where you get the health benefits of chocolate, because chocolate and cacao is actually incredibly healthy. It's got incredible antioxidant properties, but we lose all of that when we over roast it and then add sugar and everything else into it. So you've got dark chocolate cranberries, you've got the pumpkins, so little Halloween pumpkin chocolates. They're either flavoured with lemon oil or orange oil. And the chocolate buttons that you've got in there, the little like button things, are flavoured with peppermint oil. And I think underneath you've got another layer of other things.
Is
as
there
well.
another layer?
Yeah, there's another layer.
Oh, yes. Great. So you said you can't eat them all, but you've got lots of different oils, so I'm going to have to at least try all these
You
ones.
can try them.
You know?
Yeah, do
So
try.
if people want to find out more, because I know you've got a website and you have got about Halloween on there.
There's a free recipe download on there, healthy Halloween download. It's not, I sort of play around with the recipes, so the ones that are in there not necessarily the ones that you've got, but you've also got some apple and cinnamon gummy bears on the next layer as well, so they're vegan. So there's lots of different things in there, healthy recipe download, and there's also like if you use certain hashtags, there's a competition going as well to tag me in your, because I made like a guacamole witch, and there's like tag me in your creations, and you know we'll pick a best one and things like that.
Brilliant. It's World Vegan Day on Thursday as well.
Oh,
so
well, there you go.
Tie it all in together, Halloween and World Vegan Day, which started, by the way, in Leicester. I didn't realise that.
No, I didn't realise.
Didn't you?
That.
Yeah,
I should have realised.
Right, what's your website? Give your website out.
It is www.louisemessia.co.uk.
Okay, Messia spelled Merciecea.
That is right.
Thank you so much for coming in. That's brilliant. I'm going to
Thank
have to
you.
make these with
And
my daughter
don't
now.
eat them all. Just
No, that's true. Hayden will be all over it now. Thank you so much.
thank you.